Do you want to go through the other results too? And then take a break? Or
sure, that's fine.
Okay. Let's talk about ELEAGUE.
You got it.
ELEAGUE, obviously the finals were this week. Basically 8 through 4, well 8 through 5 I guess you can call it. 8 through 4 was played on Twitch, and then the top 4 was played on TBS on TV. And some interesting stuff happening there as well. But do they not actually...
No, the results are right there. Right there. In that picture.
Oh, this is... Okay, okay, it's a graphical picture.
Graphical picture.
Graphical picture. Okay, 7th place. Tied for 7th place was Momochi and Xiaohai. Momochi... no, I'm sorry. Daigo and Wolfchrome. That's what it is. They're grayed out. Yes. Momochi beat Daigo, and Xiaohai beat Wolfchrome. And so Daigo and Wolfchrome both go out in 7th place.
Yeah, Wolfchrome had played really, really well, but that time I would not say was the best I've seen him play, unfortunately.
No, you could tell the nerves were getting to him. I mean, that's what people have said is his biggest weakness, is that when he's the one with the pressure, he struggles, which is why he didn't do well against K-Brad at final round. Right? A lot of people are like, you can't be the heel if you can't back it up. And I feel like that kind of caught him again. Then tied for 5th place was Momochi and Xiaohai. Fudo beating Momochi and Piarog beating Xiaohai. 4th place was Piarog. He lost to Fudo.
Yeah. That's super.
So everyone was talking about how that was probably an option select.
That's what I thought.
That he caught the V reversal with.
So if you didn't see at the end of the round, last to kill, Fudo did jump in short super, and Eduardo had done a V reversal against the short, so he was caught by the super basically.
And yeah, Alioun even went and put out a video afterwards like, here's my option select, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Then we talked to PR Rock, and he's like, I talked to Fudo, and that was not an option select.
Nope.
In fact, it wasn't even a call-out. It was actually an accident that worked out for him.
Really?
Because he said that Fudo just was doing jump light kick, and he was just going to raw super because he thought PR Balrog was going to counter with a standing light kick. He was just going for the call-out after the jump light kick.
So he meant to do super.
Yeah, he meant to do super. He meant to do super, but he wasn't trying to catch the V reversal. He was just doing jump light kick and the super to catch a backdash or a standing light kick or something. And the V reversal came out, and it just worked out for Fudo.
Well, okay, so I guess that would catch V reversal or short or backdash, right? Like any of those, I guess.
So okay, I guess it was an option select then. You know?
Yeah.
But that's what PR Balrog told us. That's what he told us, and kind of goes along with like Fudo was one of the greatest players, but he's also kind of a maniac in his own way.
He can be.
And what he said, what PR Rog says, is that Fudo told him that he uses the super like a one-time uppercut. So he uses it to beat moves in times that you would do Ume Shoryus. That's why he lands it in crazy situations like that, because it's like, well, this is where I would do an Ume uppercut if I had an uppercut, so let's just do the super.
Interesting, okay.
I mean, super might beat backdash if it actually lasts long enough. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Ryan, I thought that if you backdash against her super, that she still gets you anyway.
I'm not sure.
She runs into you.
It should have enough active frames, I would imagine, but
yeah.
I'm not sure.
I feel like that's happened to me before.
But,
if not, let me know.
Yeah, Fudo did win, and then Fudo lost to Punk in losers, which meant Punk got sent to losers. And he got sent to losers by Mr. Phenom.
Yes.
Who played fantastic in the winner's bracket. In fact, he knocked Punk into losers 3-1.
Yeah. Yeah, that like never happens.
Mm-hmm. And then Punk was able to beat Fudo 3-2. Was very close.
Yeah.
But dude, Punk, God, the way he confirms crouching medium kick is stupid. Although talking to other players like PR Rog, he was actually saying that he's like, I can't confirm crouching medium kick into Tenko, but apparently it's easier on pad.
That's what he said.
Because it's a shorter distance to go do the fireball from down back. It's just like kick, you could just do it faster. So, and PR Rog even joked after Red Bull Kumite, he's like, I'm going to become a pad warrior. I don't know if it's serious or not, but that's what he said. But then
he did tell us that though.
Grand finals was Punk versus Phenom. Now, of course, there is a little controversy here.
Yeah.
because they did not do the standard tournament, fighting game tournament rule in which you now have to eliminate Phenom twice coming from loser's bracket. Instead, they changed it from a best of 5 to a best of 7 and gave Phenom one free game. One free game. So, unfortunately, Punk ended up taking that 4-2.
Yeah.
But in normal circumstances, that would have been 3-1, and then Punk would have won one more game, and it would have been 1-0 at that time. Phenom would have had more opportunity to play had it been a standard format. Now, obviously, people are going to talk about this and be like, this is garbage. One, the rule was announced a long time ago. We just didn't pay attention to it, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true. It was.
Plus, another thing, too, is it was supposed to be single elimination and all these things like that.
Originally, it was supposed to be single.
And they convinced them not to do that. And then, obviously, there's the TV time problem, right? You have to worry about TV, and the resetting of the bracket can change the time that you need a lot drastically. And
I spoke with Z, who then came to Bull Kumite, and he said that, there's an FCC issue where if it goes into the next hour, if you're like in the next hour, then that, for ratings purposes, is considered another hour. So you want to make sure that you fill up every hour that you do stuff in, because if not, if you go 1 second into the next hour, then your ratings is basically halved. Think about it, right? Because it's 2 hours. Yeah. So that apparently that was some consideration for. Yeah. I mean, ELEAGUE as a tournament and as a production was awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see the giant lifelike figures in the stages and in the studios? And everything?
I did. That was crazy.
That was sick, dude.
Augmented reality.
Yeah, that was sick. That
was amazing. I love that. They had a lot of stuff like that, and yet very rarely did they do anything where the tournament would like get overshadowed by the production, by the show. Right. I felt like they combined the two really, really well.
Right.
And like you said, originally it was supposed to have been single elimination, but then they took, the input from the commentators, the FGC folks that they got, and they just changed the rules, which is great. That's what they should do, and they did. So props to them for that. So I was disappointed that at the biggest moment, grand finals, they did give into show over tournament. So that was a bummer for me, but again, everything else about it was awesome.
Right.
Really hope that there's a second season of that.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is that it sucks because of the fewer games that Phenom had to go out the way that he did.
Oh, poor Phenom. Missing the
Stomp
combo.
Into Super came out as uppercut.
Yeah.
Uppercut missed. Quick rise from Punk. Punk killed him. The Super from Nakali might not have even killed. Like, it might have been enough to drink, cutting down to, like, a pixel. Like, it might have just been perfect like that. But it's still just an unfortunate way to go, and that's how he had to end it. That's literally how he had to end it, and that's rough.
That's
rough.
That's crappy. If that happened to me versus you for a penny, I would be mad at myself.
Yeah,
But that happened like on television for like $100,000 extra dollars. So that sucks. You know?
No, some people are saying he didn't try Super. That's a legit
I can tell you, he
combo.
did try Super.
But we talked to him after at Bull Kumite.
Yes, he tried Super.
He tried Super, and that's just the way it happens sometimes.
Can confirm.
Yeah. He did get a decent amount of money, but that's like a $60,000 drop right there, right? Yeah. Even more than that, I believe.
I think so. I think they have the numbers there.
Oh, do they?
They did when I was looking earlier. Maybe not. No.
Yeah, I don't see it here.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was like 110 to 60 or something like that. But,
oh, God.
In any case, it was a $110,000 drop.
No.
I don't think
first place was 110,000.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
110 to 110 to 40K.
Okay, so it's a 70K drop.
70K drop.
Yeah.
Big old bummer right there. That's for sure. But then we saw him in France.
I mean, some people are making the joke about, let me cry about my 40 grand. Dude, look, I'm going to tell you this right now. 40 grand is great, especially for playing video games. 40 grand can't even buy you, like, a nice car. You know what I mean? Like, 40 grand is not as much as people think it is.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to live a full year in Norway on that. I'll tell you that much. That country's super expensive.
Oh, first place was 150? So it was a 110K drop.
Oh.
Okay. Dang, they front-loaded that a lot.
That's a butt.
They front-loaded that a lot. Dang. That's crazy, dude.
Everybody would like to have an extra 40K. It's just, don't think of it like it's a free 40K. Think about it like, what if your job was like you have a chance to win your money at the end of like,
right.
There's like 5 chances in the year where you could like, hey, maybe you got rent or not. I don't know, man. It's a tough life.
Yeah, 40K is definitely nice, especially for playing video games. You know, it's not something we could have imagined 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, even 3 years ago.
It's good. It's good for sure. But man, dang, that's a big drop between first and second. I didn't realize it was that large. That's kind of unfortunate. So, but good job to Punk, dude. That guy is the best in the world right now. I mean, I just don't think there's anything to dispute about that at this point.
I agree. Yeah, it's again, Phenom was not distraught. We saw him in France, and he was in pretty good spirits.
Yeah, he was in pretty good spirits. But, I mean, he's sad, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, but he's not like dead.
Yeah. All right, and then one last event, the Red Bull Kumite, which is what we were at in France. This was actually really nicely done.
Oh, yeah.
The venue, I mean, outside of the distinct lack of air conditioning or the underpowered air conditioning at the venue.
Dude, you know what's hilarious? As you said, distinct, my brain was like, did he just say it stinks?
It was the stink.
The stink? Because it stunk. Oh! It was gnarly in there. So here's the thing about Paris, if you've never been there, and many more places than that, because I was in the UK and it was the same way once. People in those countries, it's not like living in the American Southwest, where we're used to like 100+ degrees and you gotta have air conditioning or else you die. But in those countries, it's not as common because like you're not expecting 90 degrees plus humidity all the time. Mm-hmm. But it was like 90 degrees and humidity was very high and nobody had air conditioning.
Yes.
Our hotel didn't have the air conditioning on. Most restaurants didn't have air conditioning on. Definitely Saul Wagram, even if they had air conditioning on, then they need to buy a fancier air conditioner, I'll tell you that much, because it was super hot in there. And even if you came in with deodorant, even if you had taken a shower that day, because I did both of those things, and I can tell you that within just a few hours, you are gross. If you saw us on the show afterward, I saw myself on that camera, and the nice shirt that I had brought, that where the thing was pressed, you know, the collar was, and I didn't iron it, but it was like nice looking, you know, and I saw it on there, and it was just like this gross mess. It just was like distorted with sweat, you know, and my face was just like pouring out gross water. It was horrible.
Swamp ass the whole weekend.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes.
Oh man, but
yeah, it was a rainforest down there.
It was but the venue was cool. Like where the last chance tournament took place, they had it was like more like the players were in the center and the audience was all around, just kind of like how it was in the top 16.
Awesome venue.
Yeah, a lot of really cool things.
Yeah,
and
I mean, you know, jokes about with all that stuff aside, it was awesomely run, very pretty area, all that stuff.
The 2 players who qualified out of there got to go into the top 16, and everybody was always wondering, where's the brackets for this? But I forgot, they did this last year, they did it again this year. They draw their place in the bracket live at the event, which is super cool. I mean, just a lot of really cool, entertaining things like drawing the bracket, unlocking the locks one by one, so the last person who unlocks it gets the trophy.
Yes.
It's a lot of really cool production ideas. You know, like Red Bull and ELEAGUE obviously both have the funds to do things like that, but I mean, it shows like lots of cool things that you can do. And the event itself, the matches were ridiculous. I felt like this was much stronger than last year, because last year was still kind of that infiltration domination train.
That's right, yeah.
Right? And so this year was really, really cool. The matches were fantastic.
Yeah, agreed.
The matches were fantastic. So let's go through the results here. Again, two people who qualified in there from the last chance qualifiers were not who we would think. There was a lot of Japanese players who made it out there.
Yeah, Tachikawa was there, and Big Bird was there. I think those are probably the 2 favorites, but neither one did it.
But Crazy Verdoyance, as well as Jack Vin Jack, were the ones that made the last chance. So tied for 13th place was Red Bull's Luffy with Armika and RB with Urien and Balrog. MD, Mr. Crimson with Laura,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, Crazy Verdoyance, so he didn't do particularly well, but he did use Fang and Birdie.
Yeah. Well, he had actually qualified. I mean, he won grand finals of the Open qualifier with Birdie. With Fang. So his going with Fang was like not a joke.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. He was legit, but yeah, ended up losing. So.
Ninth place was Hado Jackvin Jack, so he only managed to win the. It was unfortunate that they had to get paired against each other.
Right, the two open bracket qualifiers just drew the numbers
15
to play
and 16.
each other.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate
Bummer.
that it ended up that way. But Echo Fox Tokido with Akuma. Ninth place, Kwamba Doyu Shaohai with Kami, and CYG BST PR Balrog with Balrog. Those two in ninth place. Those two players are guys who did have to do the red eye. And like PR Balrog, I mean, he was dead.
Yeah.
He was so tired when he was there. I mean, and then literally he was at the airport with us leaving, and I was like, I know you're tired, but did you at least enjoy yourself here? And he was like, I wasn't even here for 24 hours. And I was like, holy crap, you're right. He didn't even get to spend 24 hours in France.
That's wild.
He actually had less than 24 hours practically. So
yeah, and he told us, we were like, why don't you go take a nap, while the matches were going on. You know the schedule once everything's pulled. So after you play, it's going to be like an hour or two until you play again. Why don't you take a nap? And he said that if he had fallen asleep, that he would have just been groggy the whole day, and he would have been playing much worse even than.
There's some people who are not good nap people.
Yeah, and I'm one of them. So I totally get it.
Okay,
I totally get it. Yeah.
Oh man. So seventh place was BX3 Phenom, another one of the Red Eye Flyers out there, and XYZZY Birdie. Fifth place was Red Bull's Bonchan. He sucks. He's washed up. He totally didn't win his fourth tournament in 4 weeks.
What a jobber.
Yeah, I mean, he lost to some good people.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Someone who won the tournament, and then so he lost to Daigo. He got eliminated by Daigo.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a true story. I was sitting up there in the player area watching Daigo's first match, which he lost, by the way, because all the 4 Red Eye guys, only one person won their first match. That was PR Balrog. Yeah. Everyone else lost their first match. Bonchan was standing at the rail watching. As soon as Daigo lost, Bonchan was like, yes! Like, he was like cheering. Because he does not want to play Daigo.
Yeah.
He says that he has so much trouble playing Daigo.
Yeah.
In any fighting game, I guess. So.
Were you there when we were talking with Tokido as well?
Yeah.
So Tokido said that in casuals, Daigo bodies everybody, including Tokido, including Bonchan. Like, he just kills everybody. But that in particular, it's super tough for Bonchan to beat Daigo. Like, you just can't do it. So there you go.
And then, sure enough, you ended up losing to him. But fifth place was also Razor Infiltration with Karim. Yeah. So, and he even was able to bring his fiancée out there.
Yeah, we met her. She was nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. His intro, did you see his intro where he walked down with the E-League hat and he like rips it off, throws it away, and then walks up and gets a kiss from his fiance and then heads into the cage? Dude, he was like super, he was like he was the alpha for that tournament. Fourth place was Twitch HX CYG, freaking letters. Daigo Umahara with Guile.
There you go.
Impressed everyone. And I know everyone in the chat is joking about, sober Daigo, because after he did poorly at E-League, he's like, I really need to probably be better with my health, eat better, and stop drinking as much. And so now everyone's always like, oh, sober Daigo. Dude, in Japan, you drink a lot, okay? Yeah. It's just the way it works. It just happens, so.
And, I've drank with Daigo in the past. He's an incredible competitor in drinking.
Oh man!
I've seen that man take down 5 or 6 like big 750 milliliter beers
in one sitting.
Yeah,
Jesus!
It's just for him.
Dang.
That was years ago. I don't know if he's still doing that stuff, but I mean, he was probably 5 years ago. He was really impressive at the time. So.
Oh man! Third place. Super impressive.
Yes.
XL Infectious with Nikali. And he ended up losing to Nemo, who used Urian. And it was funny because we all know Nemo hates Zangief. And Infectious used Nikali against him. He did use Zangief a couple of times.
Yeah,
right? But
he did.
afterwards, after the tournament, I talked to him. I was like, so why'd you go Nikali? And he was like, I saw him play against Haitani. And he was like, the way Nemo played against Haitani, he barely won. And he's like, I play completely different than Haitani. So I was like, I had the read and I knew, I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm like, but Nemo hates Zangief and he has like a mental block against him. And Zangief blows him up.
Yeah.
And Infection was like, oh God, you're right. I forgot. I felt so bad. I was like, oh man, you should have just totally went with Zangief.
But I loved his Nikali. His Nikali is a very grappler influenced Nikali.
Yeah,
Really fun to watch. I usually hate watching that character because I feel like either it's boring or like it's like hard to identify like what the goal is
right.
a lot of the time.
Yeah.
For Nikali, they're just like dancing around. I don't know, man. But he had a very set goal. And to his credit, he went up 2-0 on Nemo. So he did come with something that Nemo wasn't expecting. But Nemo was awesome. And he, figured it out.
He should have switched because that would have almost been guaranteed at that point. I think so.
Yep.
But I mean, look, you can't even make fun of the guy, dude. He got third, but he beat a lot of good players make it there. So
including Umahar Daigo.
Yeah. So shout outs to Infectious. Him and second place Gachikun, or as Z kept pronouncing it,
Gatakun, yeah.
With Rashid. Those two were definitely, I felt like, the MVPs of that tournament because Gatakun, like, he hasn't traveled as much. We don't get to see him. Infectious, he doesn't travel as much. We don't get to see him. And they just blew everybody up.
Yeah.
So shout outs to them. But first place, Alienware, Nemo. With Urien.
He was looking good.
Yep.
He's a smarty pants.
I was, like... It's so funny because, like, obviously I picked Bonchan to win it because he had been winning everything. But second place, I had Nemo winning it. Not because I thought he had the best chance, because I just really wanted him to win.
Okay.
Because I'm so sick of the fact that Urien is, like, not doing well at tournaments. And I was like, no, Nemo is going to come here and body everybody this weekend. He's going to blow everything up. And he was just doing some ridiculous stuff with that character, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he plays a very distinct Nemo style, like he always does, but I feel like that works super well for Urien.
Like, when we got to interview him at the end, you pointed out the meaty EX headbutt.
He did meaty EX headbutt, and it was blocked, and he died for it. But even still, it was like such a
read,
Well, but it was like if I'm Gachikun in that situation, and I'm down 0-2, right? And my opponent does that EX headbutt. It's not. I don't think, okay, I got him. I think, wow, he thinks he has such a read on me.
Yeah.
That he does that, I'm definitely dead. Even though I got that round, that's a sign that I'm out of this thing.
I will say one thing though. I mean, a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, obviously Urien is not doing so great and everything like that, and that maybe he isn't top tier and everything like that. I do agree that, you do have to be a good player to do well with him. Of course. But at the highest levels, that character is ridiculous. He's too good. For some reason, I didn't even know until like the start of that weekend that EX Headbutt into Aegis was a combo. I was so mad when I found out that, because that's like uppercut FADC basically into a mix-up.
Wow, I mean, it's minus crush counter on walk.
Right,
so.
But still, you hit it and you FADC and they're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, God.
Yeah, it's good. I was really happy for Gachikun doing as well as he did, like you said. But I feel the same way about Rashid. Rashid is super strong. You see him doing better more often than you see Urien for whatever reason. But, he played just amazingly well. And then at the end, as we were interviewing him, he said he just got too much in the mindset of attacking and like couldn't get out of it in time. So, but yeah, it'd be great if he traveled more. I'd like to see him because he's super super strong.
It was actually really cool to talk to those guys afterwards.
So if folks didn't watch, I'd love to know or if you did watch rather, I'd love to know what you think. But if you did not watch, after the tournament ended, James and I did like an interview between
Final Fight Breakdown, the post show here at the Red Bull Kumite.
You're James Chen.
I forgot my line at that point in time. Like I literally freaked out funny. There. So, but
no big deal. Anyway, we interviewed Nemo and Gachikun as we watched through their match, their grand finals, and that's something that I've always thought would be a cool idea, but we've never really gotten to do, and so I was happy to be able to do it. I thought it was interesting. I thought it could have gone better. in part because, and this, to be expected, but the translation time was like, the delay, was like...
It was kind of rough.
Unfortunate, because we couldn't, respond quickly, or, if the players were responding with something that, we knew the answer to already, I couldn't be like, but, narrow down,
Plus, the other thing, too, that was really tough was that we were doing analysis and asking questions at the same time, and so your job when you're working with a translator is to ask short questions, because that way the translator doesn't have to memorize a giant thing. But we were this section was really interesting because they were doing this and this, and they had this really great strategy, blah, blah, blah. What was he thinking in that situation?
Yeah.
Whoops. And it was dang it. Okay, I had the question short, but the context is not short at all.
Sure. So I was rooting for Infectious to beat Nemo. Not just because I thought that would have been cool, but because, hey, at least one person I wouldn't have needed a translator for. So.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah, it was it could have gone better, but I did really like the idea of it, and hope to do that kind of thing more often.
I think it went well. Again, if anyone actually watched it, let us know how you guys like it. So if you guys would like to see more of that kind of stuff, we can talk to other people for production. And again, I was just really happy because Red Bull, was willing to try to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying to do different things, and I thought that was really cool.
Agreed.
That was really cool. So,
with respect to pausing the replay, actually, that was something that they had planned to do, and they had even said things like, you can say on the mic, hey, let's replay or let's pause or whatever.
Go back a few seconds.
Yeah, let's go back a few seconds. Right. It just ended up being that there wasn't enough time, in part because of the translations taking much, much longer than we thought, we had planned for, and some other stuff. It just wasn't enough time for that, unfortunately.
Yeah, because on the fly, because one of the hardest things about doing commentary like this, the more higher level production we get to, and in fact this is happening even on CPT and everything like this, is that we have people talking in our ear a lot of the time.
That's true.
Right? So it's funny because now I totally get it. Sometimes when you actually watch live sports broadcasts and people start spacing out, and you're like, why is this guy not saying anything? Or why is he stumbling over his words? Probably because someone's barking in his ear about something, you know what I mean? And so, now that I understand that, we were just at a position where, it was we're running out of time.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. Keep the question shorter.
Right,
you know? So it was whoops.
Yeah, so that's part of why people are talking about it now. That's part of why we talked more about the mentality and composure, sort of generalities. Mm-hmm. I really wanted to focus in super deep on some things, but then we were running out of time. And furthermore, the couple times when I did try to get that, I think there just must have been some translation issues or whatever. But my attempt to be all right, Gotch-kun, you're down now, but what specifically do you need to do? To make this happen? Where do you need to stand? The exact space. I want to know the deep stuff. And then it came back as I need the corner. I'm better if I have the corner. I know. That's not the question.
Totally didn't even notice, but we listed as Ice and Katana Prime are still here. That's
awesome. That's been out the whole time. So, just
Thanks, David. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was the explanation there. So. But I'd love to do that kind of thing more often.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Iron it out a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say about the results there?
Paris is cool. You know what? In retrospect, some FGC members from France, they offered to get me Tekken 7 from their local mom and pop that breaks street day, and I was like, don't worry about it, guys. Appreciate it. But, I go home and I got the old mom and pop here in LA. It'll be fine. And then it turns out it doesn't have it in yet. So, bummer. Also, a couple of dudes in the Parisian scene offered to let me come over and play Injustice Saturday night.
Oh, dang, nice.
And,
okay.
Ultimately we didn't have time, unfortunately, but appreciate that, and would love to have been able to do that some other time.
Yeah, I'm just so GTO Akira in the chat says that next tournament that Nemo will be at is at Rage Volume 4 on June 10th, but again, I just hope to see more Nemo going around because I want to see Urian blowing more people up. I just want to see that. So.
What? Je suis d'accord.
Okay. Oui.
Oui.
Sont les mondes qui vont très bien ensemble. J'y sont frontiers.
You're singing.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
Yeah, so you got it, man. When I got there, my French was at 2% battery.
But you recharged it a little bit.
Recharged it a little bit, yeah. It was maybe like 30% when we left, you know.
Oh, man. Okay.
Alrighty, so break time?
Yeah, let's take a break. And when we come back, we will be talking about Corey gaming videos and then just games all over the place. So, okay, be right back, guys.
That's right, I accepted.